On this week's episode, we'll be looking at what makes OSU colorful.
And show you just how creative students can be. This week's show theme, Art in Stillwater.
This is Pete's Corner, and we're starting right now. Pete's Corner. I'm Salem Anthony.
And I'm Cainan Anthony. This week we'll focus on the art on campus and off for those who may have missed it.
From classical art to street art, we've got it all. And to start, we'd like to send our own Mackenzie McElroy to the Cowboy Underground Art Gallery to see what they've got going on. Mackenzie?
Art can be found all over Stillwater. You just have to know where to look. Lucky for the students of OSU, you don't have to look further than your own student union. The Orange Wall Gallery is located on the bottom floor of the Student Union, in the Cowboy Underground.
The purpose of the gallery at the Student Union is to expose as many students to art as possible. We feel like the Student Union is a place where students can engage with art even though they may not be intending to. For example, we have people that come to this space just to eat lunch. But if we rotate art on a regular basis, they're getting to see different things from different people. So we think that more people probably see art in the Student Union than they do in the art galleries.
It exhibits mostly OSU student artwork, but visiting artists, OSU faculty, alumni, and Stillwater residents have also been featured.
This month's exhibit is titled Heights and Lights, Photography in New Mexico. It features 14 photos taken by OSU students in Talpa, New Mexico.
I was kind of embarrassed at first. It was like, oh my gosh, my work actually being shown in public. But it's actually really cool. I like the way that all of them turned out.
The Orange Wall Gallery usually has one exhibit per month.
Yeah, the next one is celebrating non-traditional students and how diverse that definition can be. That could be someone who's international, who's had more than 2 years between high school and college, which could mean that they're in their 30s or in their 60s. It could be a single mother. In fact, we're actually focusing on single mothers with this exhibit.
The new exhibit will begin on November 1st. And I, for one, can't wait to see it. With Pete's Corner, I'm Mackenzie McElroy.
Thank you for that, Mackenzie. You know, the Student Union holds an art contest every spring semester that features students, staff, and faculty. The winning pieces are permanently displayed here in the Union as part of the collection and are determined by people's choice.
Another gallery showing some of Stillwater's own is the Gardner Art Gallery.
That's right, Cainan. And you know, I've been so excited hearing about it, I thought I'd go check it out myself. Well, today is my lucky day. Here at the Gardner Art Gallery, they're doing a Posters for Peace art exhibit. But not just here, it's also in Iran.
One of OSU's graphic design professors came up with the idea for this exhibit a couple years ago, and his idea has finally come to life. Professor Puya partnered with his colleague Miss Zara Pashai in Iran. They gathered art from graphic designers all around the world, and they have called it the Passage Collaborative. Given the small budget they were allowed, they asked designers to submit pieces for free, something Puya says proved difficult, but made the pieces that were donated much more meaningful. The 20 by 20 Posters for Peace art exhibit has targeted issues that not only hit home, but around the world.
انسان‌ها برابر آفریده میشن و این آتش صلح و دوستی و اتحاد و برابری به اندازه خود بشر قدمت داره. اما متاسفانه این روزها به هر جای دنیا که سرک میکشیم ناامنی و جنگ صداش بیشتر به گوش میرسه.
The art exhibit was scheduled to last through the United Nations Day for Peace, September 21st. Each poster was donated with a description from its artist about what the piece meant to them. 19 Iranian artists were featured alongside 21 artists from the U.S. and other countries. Included in the Iranian artist posters, Professor Puya submitted his own piece. Puya says artists spent anywhere from several hours to several days on these pieces, which is what gives the donations so much value.
The world of design and art is a humanist perspective that exists everywhere.
This display was replicated and ran at the same time in Iran, but rather than being displayed in an art gallery as it is here in Stillwater, it was put up in an old jail cell. The display in Iran also featured a much larger display of paper cranes, which are a symbol of peace. They used the paper cranes to represent a young girl of 12 years who was diagnosed with leukemia after the atomic bomb drop in Hiroshima. She was told whoever folded 1,000 origami cranes would be granted one wish. She made 644 before she died. But in her honor, her classmates and friends made the remaining 356 and hung them from the ceiling in her room. Much like the girls' friends, students of OSU wanted to participate, so they made their own posters for peace. And on the 21st, the United Nations Day for Peace, a guest artist came in to put on a workshop where students made posters with non-digital techniques. Just like the professional posters, each poster represents the student's perspective of peace.
Well, since this entire idea of the exhibit came from the mind of one OSU professor, it only makes sense the next exhibit feature only OSU faculty. The history of the Gardner Art Gallery is as rich as the art is beautiful. We are so lucky to have that available to students here on campus.
When we come back, we're going to go off campus and head over to downtown Stillwater.
As well as step up on stage with the theater department. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Let's head to downtown Stillwater, where Caleb Jones went to the OSU Museum of Art.
Oklahoma State University is known for its agriculture and engineering programs, but not necessarily for its arts programs. That all started to change 9 years ago with Burns Hargis becoming the 18th president of OSU. Vicki Berry, the director and chief curator at the OSU Museum of Art, says President and First Lady Hargis have been huge supporters of the arts.
The idea came to President Hargis and Mrs. Hargis early in 2010, 2011, where they found an existing building, this federal post office built in 1933, to house the museum and make it happen very quickly.
Since the OSU Art Museum opened to the public in January 2014, more than 25,000 people have come to see what the museum has to offer. Current exhibitions include pieces by Bill Barrett, Kiki Smith, Brandon Reese, a feminist collection called Femfolio, as well as the museum's permanent collection.
President Hargis has a vision. He thinks that not only do we need the dimension of art in our programs and in specialized buildings and programs, but also through the experience of our campus.
And for that reason, the OSU Art Museum opened an on-campus exhibition showcasing 6 bronze sculptures made by Bill Barrett. The statues were placed around campus in June and will be around until June 2018.
What I have seen, and was the reason I joined the team here, was the potential and the raising of the profile of the arts, all of the arts, music, theater, and visual arts as well at OSU. So we're not done yet. So we're seeing that more resources, more attention, more donors are coming to the table to help us really make the arts and support the arts.
So if you haven't taken the time, head over to the OSU Art Museum to appreciate the art OSU works so hard to promote. For Pete's Corner, I'm Caleb Jones.
And one of OSU's own professors happens to be a local artist too. So we sent our Kylie Josie to see what his work looks like outside of school.
With his art on display nationwide and in 3 different countries, Brandon Reese still decided to come back to Stillwater, Oklahoma and continue teaching and creating his art.
I'm an artist and a professor at Oklahoma State University. I build mostly large-scale ceramic and wood sculptures.
Brandon was born in Lawton, Oklahoma, and left to attend the Kansas City Institute of Art. After getting his graduate's degree at Bowling Green, he decided to move back to Oklahoma and start a family. In his 17 years teaching here at Oklahoma State, Brandon has changed the lives of many young artists that hope to one day accomplish what he's accomplished.
I've worked in galleries across the United States at several venues from basically coast to coast. I also have work in museums in Taiwan and in Germany, and then currently at Oklahoma State University at the art museum there.
I'm currently here at Oklahoma State's own art museum in downtown Stillwater, standing next to one of Brandon Reese's own pieces on display. Reese uses a combination of clay, wood, and ceramic to create his sculptures. He always says his art wears the fingerprints, cuts, dents, and other texturing as a roadmap and documentation of its own creation. His apprentice and former student, Austin Navarcall, has used Brandon's attitude and work as an influence in his own art.
I would say I draw a lot of inspiration from his work based on the materials he uses and sort of how he uses them. So I guess why I wanted to work for him was I wanted to learn what he knew, and I kind of want to do what he does. So I figure that's the best thing to do, is work for someone who's doing what you want to do. He really kind of pushes the boundaries of what you can do with clay and ceramics in general.
For Pete's Corner, I'm Kylie Josie.
We sure love to see our professors going above and beyond outside the classroom. And if you're looking for a more engaging experience, the theater is the place to be.
Powerful stories, memorable characters, and unique atmosphere. That is theater.
That's so right. And you know, we've had such a great opportunity growing up with a brother that was in the theater. It was such an awesome experience.
He was so good at it. I loved watching him.
You know,
do his thing.
it gave me a true love for the theater and the arts.
I agree.
And so with that in mind, we sent our own Hannah Warshin over to talk about the extension that's coming to the theater department at the McKnight Center.
The Sarantine Center was built in 1970 and has acted as Oklahoma State's main hub for performance arts since opening its doors almost 5 decades ago. The building's impressive tenure in the spotlight is now coming to an end as the McKnight Center prepares to take its place as center stage. Music major Tyler Murray has spent his years at OSU practicing and performing in the Sarantine Center.
As a music major, I see music majors talking about the new McKnight Center, the new possibilities and opportunities that are going to be presented to them whenever we do switch over into that building. And I think that that is a very interesting and very, very cool part about being a Cowboy right now.
The McKnight Center will become the music department's new home and will boast an impressive lineup of programming and partnerships thanks to a generous $25 million donation from OSU alumni Ross and Billy McKnight. Freshman music major Gabriel Meha will be a junior when the McKnight Center opens.
I'm excited about it because having it open will allow me to practice more effectively, and also I'm super excited because the New York Philharmonic is going to come down here for a week.
The new McKnight Center will be heavily music oriented, but what about those who are less musically inclined?
Oklahoma State's Music and Theater Department share space in the Sarantine. The McKnight Center will allow the music department to sprawl out, but less is known about what the new center will mean for the theater department. Many theater students are hopeful their department will gain more space, but theater major Brianna Alt says the theater department is resourceful.
Well, I mean, we make do with what we got. We're used to it.
The McKnight Center doors will open in 2019. For Pete's Corner, I'm Hannah Worsham.
The McKnight Center will help performing arts students hone their skills and reach new heights.
While the center is still being constructed, the show must go on. Cam Close has a scoop for the upcoming theater show.
Lights, camera, action. Rehearsals are underway at the Viva Lock Theater. Drama students of Oklahoma State are hustling and bustling as show week swiftly approaches. The theater department is proudly presenting a twisted version of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
It's just highly suspenseful. So there's 3 people inside, and they're not necessarily getting along, and so there's problems on the inside, and then there's problems on the outside of the house with the birds attacking. So
The department director, Andrew Kimbrough, speaks highly of the students taking on the challenges this play brings.
you don't see many plays written this way anymore today. So this is it's a style of acting that's going to be very difficult for the actors to pull off, but they're doing a marvelous job.
Oklahoma State's theater students have been practicing all week in all aspects: sound, lighting, stage management, and even the actors have been here almost every night from 6 to 10 p.m. preparing for next week's show.
We're still working.
We're all coming together. The tech really is coming together. The actors have been working every night. We are coming together and putting lighting and sound and costumes and making sure it all works together. And I'm really excited to see that picture come together.
It's exciting and nerve-wracking because that's going to be the first time that we see everything in sequence with everyone on stage.
With tech and full dress rehearsals complete, the show continues to come together piece by piece.
Trying to make it all go together. This whole show is like an underscored, it's almost like a masterpiece of itself.
Tickets are on sale now, just $7 for OSU students. And if you weren't sold by that, you could say the theater students are highlighting the silver lining of attending a play on a Friday night.
So it's like a cheap date night, or, you know, it's cheaper than going to see a movie, and it's a whole lot more interesting.
Those who have put in endless work toward the birds are buzzing with excitement. In just a few short days, they will finally get to see all of that hard work pay off.
So we'll be running October 5, 6, 7, and 8, 3 nights at 7:30 and 1 Sunday matinee at 2:30.
And you can definitely catch me there and watch it play out on opening night. For Pete's Corner, I'm Cam Close.
Just like the McKnight Center, a new building has been announced for the OSU Music Department. Michael Cox went and talked to the Greenwood family, who is funding the project, to find out more about the new building plans.
It's likely you've seen their names around campus, on the tennis center, in the library, and soon to be on the new music school. Oklahoma State graduates turned philanthropists Michael and Ann Greenwood have made their impact on OSU. What started with funding a single scholarship has turned into a passion to better the lives and college experiences of Oklahoma State students. The Michael and Ann Greenwood Tennis Center was their first large-scale contribution to the school, but it won't be their last. When completed in the fall of 2019, the Greenwoods think the new music school will take OSU's music program to a whole new level.
Kind of got to the position where like, somebody's got to step up, we have to do it. And I'm glad that we can, because it's a game changer, difference maker.
The Michael and Ann Greenwood School of Music was announced on September 24th as part of OSU's Music in the Park. It was a surprise announcement, a secret that was hard to keep for Ann Greenwood.
And I wanted to tell some people, but we specifically put some faculty and staff and students by us because I wanted to see their face. I was so excited and so proud because, while I saw a great emotional outpouring and joy and happiness.
The new music school will be attached to the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts. This will bring state-of-the-art facilities for students to both train and perform in. What excites the Greenwoods the most about the project? The impact it will have on the music students, which they will get to see in action in the first performance. This impact drives them to continue giving to OSU and helps them encourage others to do so as well.
If anyone who's thinking about giving would have read even one of the thank you letters that we've received over our lives from a student, it'd make you wonder, why didn't I do this 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Because you really are changing people's lives.
Leaving their mark on everything from athletics to music, it is easy to see the Greenwoods will have a lasting legacy of giving at OSU. For Pete's Corner, I'm Michael Cox.
So far, we've seen traditional forms of art, from painting to acting.
While it has its appeals, it's not for everyone. But art comes in many forms and is changing every day.
That's so true. But you know, the phrase that comes to mind is, I'd rather watch paint dry. But at the same time, it really makes you think, because a painting would have to truly be amazing for you to really want to stop and watch it dry. So Mason Ponder decided he had more to add on this.
While plenty of art is present around Stillwater, there's a building on the OSU campus where art is built from paper, but not in the way you would expect. The Donald W. Reynolds School of Architecture building houses studios filled with students who are all creating their own version of art, one idea at a time.
Many of these ideas come from the building structure itself. There's inspiration around every corner and in every small detail. Senior Jenna Grant tells us about how the architecture program has inspired her to grow her own business.
So growing up, I always liked to do all sorts of art, drawing, painting, really anything I could get my hands on. But one of the things we learned in architecture school is we dabbled a little bit in watercolor. That kind of really sparked my interest because there's something really special about watercolor and adding it on top of your sketches and your drawings to help portray a little bit more of the character you had in mind when you were making the drawing of your ideas. But from there, I just kind of fell in love with it, and I've been doing it consistently ever since.
While students like Jenna have allowed inspiration to grow her own art, senior Rachel Newman has valued the friendships and lessons that her designs have given her.
I really like architecture because I originally really liked art. I love doing art. I love looking at it and getting inspired by it. But architecture to me is the more or less like the literal form of it. It's applied, and not just applied, you live throughout it and you are a part of it and you walk through it and you experience it. So it's a lot more, you experience art, but you interact with buildings every single day. And so a good piece of architecture too is poetic, to where like you don't see the systems, or like you have a reason for everything. And just like art, I feel like that's a very important thing too.
You know, it's one thing to just build a box and have it function what it's supposed to be doing for the client or the people using the building, but to actually like create an experience inside of a building is something that like extremely important. So keeping that in mind while you're designing your building, to me is an art form.
From Pete's Corner, I'm Mason Ponder.
And that will wrap up today's episode. It's all that we have, but we hope you had as much fun and learned as much as we did.
Come back next week for more fun. Thanks for watching. I'm Cainan.
And I'm Salem, and as always,
Go Pokes.